Hi, I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to make a personalised photo card using our Magic Windows Slide and Reveal die set. The die set enables you to make photo cards where one image dissolves into the other. I made this card using photos of my son and daughter. It was actually my daughter's first Christmas. I absolutely love this card. To start off with, you need to print your photos onto paper rather than using actual photographs. This is because you'll be using the cropped circle die from your set and layering it onto a thicker piece of card, and you just want to consider the GSM when you're doing that. And I find that paper around 120 GSM onto 200 GSM card works really well. The first thing we're going to do is crop the photographs. I'm going to take the circle cropping die and also the center topper, and I'll show you why in just a moment. You're also going to need a little bit of masking tape. So this is what you're going to use to crop that circle down to size. And the reason I take the circle topper out is because I just want to check. You'll notice that the center piece is obscured as part of the mechanism, and I just want to make sure that when I die cut the circle, I'm not going to hide anything important. I don't want to cover up their faces. And when you do this, just remember to remove that piece. And you just run it through your die cutting machine. And I'm just going to repeat that again to die cut the circle from the second image. I've actually printed these at 7 by 5. 6 by 4 is a little bit too small. The diameter of this cropping circle is 10.4 centimeters, which is a helpful guide when choosing the size, but I find that 7 by 5 works really well. Just run that through here. The next step is to mount your printed photos onto card. Now I found the simplest way is actually to use a glue stick, and you want to apply a thin and even layer. I've cut this piece of paper the size that I want to use. I'm just going to mount that centrally. About 16 by 16 centimeters works well. when attaching the tab piece, you don't need to worry so much about getting this piece central, because it's going to be completely cut out anyway. So this is the front piece. This is the tab slider. You know it's a slider because of the curve slot. And I'm going to position it over the photograph. The triangle marks the top and the rectangle marks the bottom. And you just want to place it centrally, like so. I'm just using a little bit of washi tape to hold it in place. This is the tab die. Again, it has a triangle for the top and a rectangle for the bottom. As I'm lining this up, I'm going by these inner lines here, using them as a guide. It is important to make sure that the triangle is pointing to the top of your design, otherwise once you've constructed the card, your image could end up upside down. It can be a little bit strange at first when you see the cut lines going through your photographs, but don't worry. You want to avoid using PVA glue when constructing your card. So the best and easiest way to do this is to make the donut self-adhesive. I've just applied 2 strips of double-sided tape quickly to a scrap of white card. I've positioned the donut part of the die over, I'll just lift that up to show you, the donut part of the die over the double-sided tape, so that only that part is self-adhesive. And I'm also going to choose a topper. I quite like this topper with the 2 little birds. Reminds me of my 2 little birds. I've printed this using the CD-ROM. There's lots of, as you see from the sheet, there's lots of toppers to choose from, pattern papers, templates as well. If you want to make a shaped Magic Windows card, it's great. This is the last piece to die cut. That's the donut with the double-sided tape on it and the bread that you'll need. Now I want to do something a bit special with this, and I just love the heat emboss border. I've used the snowflake border from a Christmas Wonderland stamp set. You don't have to use the focal point, and the borders themselves, this is the Winter Days one with the snowballs. They're just so versatile, and I'm really enjoying using them to make personalised photo cards at the moment. I'm going to do this first before I construct the card. I'm just going to go over area I'm going to stamp with an anti-static pad. It does make a difference. Didn't believe it at first, but they do. I'm using an embossing stamp pad just to apply some adhesive to the stamp. Just place a scrap of paper underneath. Once you're happy with the positioning, just apply firm and even pressure. I have here white embossing powder, opaque bright white, so I've gone for the super fine. You can stamp with white ink. I quite like the effect of the embossed snowflakes though. So I always keep a paintbrush handy just to dust off any unwanted bits of powder. Okay. When you're pouring the embossing powder over, it does look like you're using a lot, but you're not. All that's going back into the pot. Don't worry if there are any parts of the border that you've missed out or that are a little bit faint, because the nice thing about these borders is they have an antique look, so you don't need to worry about them being that precise. I've just put a mat behind it just to protect my craft mat in case there's any loose sort of embossing powder particles. Heating this up, you'll notice it just starts to change from powdery matte to a lovely white gloss. And as soon as it changes, just keep your eye on it. You don't want to overheat it. As the heat gun gets up to temperature, you'll notice you can move on to the next part of the border quicker. There we go. Before I construct the card, I'm just going to show you a little trick for customizing your tabs. So I have a plain red tab here. If you want to make a tab a different colour or maybe add a bit of pattern, that's really easy to do. I'm just going to place the tab die over a piece of pattern paper. I've done this a few times with mirror cards and that looks really cool. You don't need to cut it all the way. You see there, I've only partially cut out the tab, and I'm just going to trim the excess And I'm going to cut either side of the flaps. I've just got a scrap of paper here. Again, just using a glue stick. You don't have to do this. It does look quite nice, got a bit of extra glue there. Also what you can do is punch a hole. So on to construction, and this is my favourite bit. I'm going to take the tab piece and thread it behind the circle slider. You want the two central holes lined up and the tab over to the far right. I'm going to lift each of the 6 front tab pieces, and you'll notice there's a slot just behind them, and I'm just going to tuck them in and work my way round. You notice as they're connecting, it's making a star in the middle. You won't see the star once it's finished, but when you have the star, you'll know that it's connected properly. And turn it over, and peeling away the backing tape, the donut we made earlier. This is the brad, and I've just folded in the arms. I'm going to take the brad from the back, with the arms going through the hole, turn it over, and pull the arms apart as far as they will go. To keep those in place, I'm going to use 2 very small pieces of high-tack double-sided tape. This is very thin tape, 3mm. Just peel the back away of those. Then keep it all together. I'm going to put the circle topper over the top. I'm going to turn this over, so that's the magic windows made. I want to mount it onto a larger card. I'm going to take the 3mm high-tack tape, just run it close to the edges. What you don't want to do with the magic windows is squash the mechanism by trimming your card too close and then sort of sealing it all in. The paper and the card needs space to move around. I'm also going to put a bit of tape on the back of the brad, and that will stop the brad from spinning around. If you have a motif like a snowflake, for example, it doesn't matter so much if the circle topper does spin around with the brad, but if you have a greeting or something like this with the birds, I want it to remain the right way up. This is just a piece of white card that I've trimmed to be slightly bigger than the 16 by 16 centimeters. I trimmed that original red piece of paper too. I've got my card the right way. I put some double-sided tape already on the back of this. to use a tape runner or a glue stick for this. This polka dot pattern is really useful. I've printed it from the CD-ROM. On the original card I made, I used the diagonal stripe, and that looks quite nice as well. It's a bit excessive there. Just to complete the look, I'm going to thread a lace trim and a bit of baker's twine through the tab. And there you are, a Magic Windows photo card. On the card that I made with the diagonal stripes, I also decided to add a few adhesive pearls to the snowflake border, which I really like.